Hey, forget about it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Good to have you here. Good to see you all back. Thanks for joining me. It is so great to see so many people interested in this story. Welcome to all you meatballs. Good to have you here. Let's see who we got in the house with us tonight. Uncle Toulouse. Good to have you here. Great to see you. Mandy Joe, welcome back, dear. Good to have you. Miss Heather, another awesome moderator. Two moderators here. Good to see you guys. Mrs. M, always happy to see you, my dear. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Deb at Tutro, thanks for joining us. Bonnie Bailey, welcome. Good to have you. Doc Doc, by the way, I'm from Queens. Hey, forget about it. This all took place in Italian. Good to have you here, Doc Doc. Mikey, my brother, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Angela, welcome. Good to have you here. Heather Dolphin. Let's see. Hit that like button, guys. If you would. Angela, good to see you. Like I said. My friend Eddie, One Made Nut, welcome back. Good to see you, brother. Dolphin 517, good to see you again. I just seen you down there. I'm sorry I didn't see it. Evie Marie, welcome back, darling. Miss Brandy, the OG's in the house. Good to have you. Good to have you. Happy man, welcome back, my brother. Good to have you as well. Let me see. Who else do we have? We got 25 awesome people in here. There was. Looked like I thought there was a few more, but that's okay. Miss Sherry's in the house. Welcome back, Miss Sherry. Good to see you. Wisdom Speaks. Miss Caroline, always happy to see you. I think that's it for right now. One moment. All right. Pink Peony's in the house. Good to have ya. Paranormal Witch, caca. Welcome. I don't have that set up tonight. Otherwise, I'd have hit your button just for you. Great to see you. Great to see you. So tonight, guys, as you saw, we are covering the true story behind the movie Goodfellas. One of my all-time favorite movies ever. Ever. It's got an all-star cast: Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro. I can never remember his name. Ray Liotta, and many more people in this movie. It's just an amazing movie, and it's all based on true facts. Henry Hill is who the movie's based on, and we're gonna learn all about him tonight. For those of you that don't know, don't forget to be nice to your uncle. I seen you, Uncle Toulouse, and I'm glad to see you, Miss Gina. Good to see you, Miss Gina. Hope everything's going well at your place with the fam. I hope everything is good, darling. And it's so great to see you again. I think we got everybody in here so far. Guys, grab your coffee, tea, whatever it may be. Come on in, sit down, and have a conversation with me. For those of you that haven't seen it, my first piece of merchandise. And this glows in the dark, folks. Pretty cool. You got to have it in the sunlight, though. But it's pretty wild. Yeah, I got a t-shirt and I got a cup. And I'm going to start getting them together, getting orders together. Anybody that's interested in that. And then we're going to start changing some designs up to get some stuff with some meatballs on it. Some of the sayings that we have, stuff like that for you guys. Anybody interested, let me know. And we'll go from there. This show reminds me of my Italian family. Well, some of them. No, that's what we are. We're an Italian family with a little bit of extra added, you know. So all the meatballs we got in here, welcome to the sauce. We're going to be spilling some sauce tonight for sure. And I'm glad to have you all here with me to do it. It's a great one tonight, folks. It is. Thank you, Miss Heather. Excuse me. Still got some stuff in my throat here trying to clear out. All right, Pappy. What do we got? What do we got going on here, Pappy? What you doing? I'm excited about this. I have Mr. Looks like Pappy gifted one membership to CL. All right. Good to know. Good to know. Thank you for that, Pappy, man. I appreciate you, brother, very much. Let me see here. All right. right, all right. Come on in, come on in. Have a seat, guys. Make sure you're leaving some DNA on that like button for me. Share this out to anybody you think would be interested. All right, all right. Miss Cindy Ann, good to see you. What's the matter, Mrs. M? You're not feeling well tonight, is it? Well, I hope you feel better. And Cindy, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us all the way from Rome, Italy. Very fitting for tonight. Good to see you. That's gorgeous. What's gorgeous? What are we talking about here? Okay. Awesome. Good stuff, Pappy. Good to hear, brother. Went to college and studied film. That's awesome. Oh, that's crappy. I'm sorry to hear that, Mrs. M. I hope you feel better, dude. Really do. So again, guys, like I said, the story is basically about a wise guy went by the name of Henry Hill. It shows his whole walk through this whole life, even to the point where he ends up in a witness protection program at some extent. So it's great. It is a great story. And he kept on doing his things. Even when he went to the witness protection program, he ended up doing things he wasn't supposed to be doing. But it is what it is. You'll see that. Absolutely, Pappy. Absolutely. Have a face for radio. There you go, brother. Absolutely, Mrs. M. You've never seen this movie before. I don't understand people that have never seen this movie. It blows my mind. Our Rhode Island's in the house. Good to see you. Yeah, I think a lot of us love this movie. What's up, Papa? I know you'd be in here for this tonight. This is one of Papa's favorites, too. Funny how? Funny like a fucking clown? Oops, I said the F word. I'm sorry. That's the best part in the movie. It is the best part in the movie. What's up, Papa? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. I got to call you here soon when I get some time. Let me understand this, because maybe it's me. I'm a little left up, maybe, but I'm funny how? I mean, funny like a clown. I amuse you. I make you laugh. I'm here to effing amuse you. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. One of the, Joe Pesci's amazing. Okay. 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 Casino, yes. Donnie Brasco, yes. They're all great movies. Of course, The Godfathers. Yes. Great movies. It's one thing that I've always, and like I said, guys, we're going to be starting up doing the mob like this, okay? I was going to do it in a week, but I got so much other stuff going on. I'm going to start doing it in the evenings like this. Welcome, Star. What the F is this piece of shit? I'm sorry? Well, what is up, Star? The Irishman, yes. The Departed, yeah. Popper, can you check that Star account and make sure that's her? Or anybody that's in here at that point that's a mod? Because that's not how she talks. Oh, okay. I was like, what is going on? All right, you're good, Star. Okay, sorry. I thought somebody was trolling on your account for a minute. Like, what? I thought you were talking to me. All right, Uncle Toulouse, you're good. You're good, bro. My boss, it's me. Now I got you, hon. You're all right. You know what I was doing though, because what we've dealt with it before, so I had to be careful. It's all good. I got it now. I figured it out. Good job. 42 people in here with 24 likes. Let's flip that around, folks. Flip it around. Smack it up, flip it, rub it down. There we go. Cornball's back. Yes, I am. My favorite scene, Pappy. Let's see here. Pappy says my favorite scene is when he takes his wife out for the first time. Well, the first time alone on a real date, and they go to the club through the back in the kitchen. Yeah, yeah. It is. It is great. Very, very good. Everything about the movie is great. There's nothing about this movie I don't like. My wife doesn't hate this movie, but she almost hates this movie because I've watched it so many times. I don't know, honey. Do you like Goodfellas? She won't answer me. Okay. She's watched it too many times because I've had it on too many times. But I can't help myself. I love the movie. My favorite scene is when they Pesci's house and she made him. Oh yeah. That was Scorsese's real mother. I knew that. Yeah, great stuff. And that scene always makes me hungry too. I swear to God, it does. Always makes me hungry every time I'm watching it. I'm going in the back to a shot. You don't forget about me now. Have fun, Uncle Toulouse, with the knife. Time to sit down and relax. Had a nasty day. Had a nasty drain clogged up with hair and funk. Pipes are clean. Awesome, CL. Have a seat. You've never seen it either. I can't. I don't understand it. Was it Mandy Joe earlier that said she never seen this, or was it who? Somebody else said they never saw this movie, and I'm just like, what? How do you not know this movie? It's one of the best movies ever made. Period. Not let alone the all star cast. Okay, not just that, just the whole way the movie was set up, the basis of it, all of it. It's an amazing movie, guys. Forget it. It's old, but it's good. I own it on VHS and DVD. Yes. Oh yeah. Right. I love I how you fall asleep watching it. I love Pesci's character in this, Nikki. So I love that character. Because he was yeah, if you haven't seen the movie, but you'll see he was kind of a short fuse. Like everything pissed him off like this, he's like that in real life too. So it's insane. Yeah, he is. You are absolutely right, Dan. He is completely underrated. He's a great actor. I don't know if you guys know this, but Joe Pesci was kind of a wise guy in real life too. He used to hang around like the Jersey Boys. Um, the old What a Night guy, Frankie Valley, Four Seasons, and them guys back in the day. But he was a real life wise guy at some point. Okay, and before he got into all the acting and stuff like that back in the day, um, in New York and in the Bronx areas and stuff like that. So yeah. Um, oh right. And he's an amazing actor. Absolutely amazing actor. Frankie Valley. Thank you, Julie Dunn. Thank you so very much. I'm a huge Frankie Valley fan as well. Always have been. Pesci, Dennison, Pacino, Ray Liotta. They're all they're all amazing. And then the other guys, that Paul Sorvino, all of them. I don't know, Pappy. I've never really looked into that. I could check that out and find out. I mean, I can't see why it wouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, he is a dynamo, Carolyn. You are absolutely right. Love Joe Pesci. Of course, De Niro is probably my favorite actor of all time. Um, Pesci is a quick second. Okay, yeah. Dan says Popper says it is. Popper knows all about these movies, guys, and a lot of the mob stuff. A lot of it. So yeah, I know quite a bit about it too. But this guy, he knows a lot about it. I'll be honest with you. Um, I remember seeing it in the cinema when it came out. Yeah, The Irishman. We're gonna cover that one too, guys. That story is great. There's the answer, folks. Casino was based on the real life of Lefty Rosenthal, right? There you go. As we know, was not Italian, but thank you, Papa, for that piece of info. Good evening, Miss Shelley. Thanks for joining us from Florida. Lorraine Bracco, excellent. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. The Irishman is a really, really good movie, guys. Really good one. Yeah. What the hell is that? Everything is great, Shelley. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's great to see you. Casino's too violent? Oh my god. Well, this one's just as bad, if not worse, Star. So, here we go. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, Departed's good too, Julie. You are right. Lucky Luciano, that's right. We're going to be covering a lot of these guys too. Al Capone, I guess I look like him. I've been told recently. I'm surprised, but I guess a couple people have been telling me that over the years when I had no facial hair, I was told that. Now I got other people telling me that too. So I guess I look like him too. We're going to be covering him. At some point, we're going to be covering a Lucky Luciano, the Gotti family. We're going to be looking at Nicky Santoro personally, or Spilatro, Nicky Spilatro as well. I'm sorry, Nicky Santoro, Tony Spilatro. The families and things like this out of New York, Chicago, Philly, Ohio. We're going to be looking at a lot of them. Yes, Rosenthal is definitely Jewish, Carolyn. That's correct. And that's going to be a basis as to what we're doing in the evenings here, because it's all true crime, folks. Real deal. Trying to think who else. Tony Vario, Mikey Desimone. Yeah, we're going to look at the Giancana family for sure. Just a lot of the mob stuff we're going to be looking into for sure. And it's all based on true crime stuff, guys. So, yep. Angelo Bruno, the Bonanno family, a lot of these people, folks. There's a lot of it. Believe me. And there's not as much of it going around now as there used to be, but it's still out there, I promise you. Gambinos, absolutely the Gambinos. And they're all linked together, guys. So that's something that we are definitely going to be looking into as part of this true crime thing that we do. Good evening, V. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight, dear. So I'm going to start off with this here, okay? Just to give you guys a little heads up on this, and then we're going to move into a couple other things. Oh, yeah, Dolphin. Absolutely. All right, guys, let me know how the volume is, audio and all that stuff. If you have any issues, please let me know so I can fix it for you. Let's get this show on the road. What do you say? Forget about it, huh? That's a fugazi.
The Goodfellas was an infamous crew of the Lucchese crime family, under the leadership of Paul Vario, that included members such as Jimmy Burke, Henry Hill, and Thomas D. Simone. Thomas D. Simone, also known as Two Gun Tommy, was an Italian-American mobster associate of the Lucchese crime family. He was a grandson and nephew of Los Angeles crime family bosses Rosario and Frank D. Simone, respectively. He was married to a woman named Angelica, nicknamed Cookie, but also had many mistresses, including famous 1970s supermodel Teresa Ferrara. In the 1990s film Goodfellas, the character Tommy DeVito, played by Joe Pesci, is mostly based on D. Simone. Tommy had a reputation for brutality, cruelty and violence. He was known as a vicious killer and was widely feared for his use of extreme violence and also known for killing people for the smallest reasons. He was regarded as a psychopath who enjoyed what he did. Henry Hill stated that Tommy was a homicidal maniac and a cold-blooded killing machine. Henry also said Tommy enjoyed it like a hobby. It was his favorite thing to do, and he scared lots of guys. He scared the scary guys. Hill also stated that he's seen him kill over 10 people. Every time he'd kill somebody, he would put a notch on his pistol or his shotgun. Hill said he once counted over 20 notches on Tommy's pistol. That's how vicious, wild and crazy Tommy was. He knew how to kill and he was good at it. Henry Hill grew up in Brooklyn, New York. His father, Henry Hill Sr., was an Irish-American electrician, and his mother, Carmela Hill, was a Sicilian-American. Henry and his 7 siblings lived together in a small house in East Brooklyn. From an early age he admired the local mobsters that socialized across the street from his home, who included Paul Vario, a captain in the Lucchese crime family. In his early teens Hill began running errands at Vario's cab stand, shoe shine stand, and pizza shop. Paul Vario was a powerful and longtime captain in the Lucchese crime family. He served as the underboss and consigliere in the early 1970s, but felt it was too much responsibility, and a couple years later was able to resign under Lucchese boss Carmine Tremonti's approval. Paulie was a maternal cousin of Colombo crime family consigliere Johnny Otto and his brother, mobster Stevie Otto. Vario ran a very large crew of sophisticated thieves, criminal masterminds and ruthless killers. Additionally, he was thought to have held the position of acting underboss of the Lucchese crime family, just prior to the conviction of then-mob boss Carmine Tremonti, and before Anthony Corallo became the official leader. Under the rule of Corallo, the underboss rank went to Salvatore Santoro. For over 30 years, Paulie was one of the richest and most powerful gangsters in America. The Vario crew stole from the neighboring JFK International Airport through hijacking. Prior to 1963, the airport was known as the Idlewild Airport and was also then used as fountain for stealing. Besides the Vario crew, a well-known Gambino crew, led by Carmine Fatico and later John Gotti, also exploited the airport for their own criminal gain. According to former Vario associate Henry Hill, the airport was like the crew's personal bank. Because of his influence over the cargo haulers union, Paulie could often threaten with a labor strike in order to turn an investigation away. During the 1980s, the FBI would listen in with hidden microphones as fellow Lucchese family members and associates boasted, "We own JFK," an obvious testament to the tremendous power and influence Vario wielded. Illegal gambling, extortion, numbers racket, labor racketeering, prostitution, pornography, bookmaking, and loan sharking were also staples for Paulie's crew and associates. It was believed that any form of gambling, most commonly the numbers game, bookmaking or underground casinos, that operated in the Brownsville section of Brooklyn was run by Vario. Criminals, pimps, drug dealers, bookmakers, or loan sharks, wishing to operate in Vario's area, had to pay him and his brothers a huge portion of their earnings, at least 30%. He and his brothers owned and ran many legal businesses, including labor unions, real estate, clothing suit and tuxedo stores, horse race tracks, churches, movie theaters, junk and scrap yards, flower shops, Italian restaurants, pizza shops, nightclubs, laundromats and dry cleaners, hotels, bars and bakeries, barber auto and ice cream shops,
Unrelated
liquor and convenience
housewives. I
stores,
know what
also
you mean.
gas stations, taxi services, car dealerships, carpentry, electrical, engineering, plumbing companies, and trucking companies. He also had a hand in the construction companies, waste management companies, fish markets, meat markets, weapon shops, and cab stands all over New York and across the United States, from which he would conduct business most of the time. His brother Vito ran the Euclid Avenue Cab Company and Presto's Pizza Shop. At his height, Paulie was earning over $30 million a year. He was raking in an enormous amount of cash for the Lucchese crime family, which earned him major respect and admiration from the commission. Vario and his brothers, along with their criminal associates, operated in Brownsville. Both of his most popular cab stands and pizza shops were located in close proximity and were popular hangouts for the crew. In the early 1970s, Vario became a multimillionaire and was considered one of the richest and most powerful people in America until his conviction. According to Henry Hill, Vario was an extremely powerful man who controlled dozens of labor unions in New York and had a lot of prominent politicians in his pocket all over the country. Paulie was extremely intelligent, sophisticated, perceptive, intuitive, and astute. He was always very careful, low-key and secretive. He never used a phone because he always believed it was too easy for law enforcement to hear his conversations. He never would speak of anything illegal to anyone, not even his trusted associates or his brothers, and he would always check every one of his companies and businesses for FBI electronic devices. Vario always
What's
made
up,
it a huge
Rowdy?
priority to limit his exposure to potentially detrimental conversations and discussions, such as wiretaps, bugs, and electronic devices. Paulie would always turn up his radio very loud to neutralize FBI wiretaps. He would even use hand gestures, write it down on a piece of paper, or just nod his head yes or no. Whenever an associate would bring up something illegal to Vario, he would not verbally respond. Sometimes, depending on the associate, he wouldn't even acknowledge them. He was a very intelligent, perceptive, and sophisticated mobster, and never let his guard down for any reason. Vario was also fiercely loyal to the mob and totally believed in the oath of the mafia. His soldiers and underlings were completely loyal to him. They were as loyal gets. They wouldn't betray him for nothing or anyone. They would kill for him in a heartbeat. In the early 1970s, Paulie was a membership director for mob boss Joseph Colombo's Italian-American Civil Rights League. However, he rescinded his membership and withdrew all support when it became apparent that the relentless accusations Colombo was making against the FBI and US government about racism and anti-Italian discrimination were attracting attention. Paul Vario was a married man with 3 sons, all of whom became involved in their father's dealings in one. Tommy was introduced to the Vario crew in 1965. Henry Hill said in Wise Guy, Jimmy Burke came by the cab stand one day with a skinny kid who was wearing a Wise Guy suit and had a pencil mustache. That guy was Tommy D. Simone. He was one of those kids who looked younger than he was, just because he was trying to look older. Jimmy had been a friend of Tommy's family for years and wanted Henry to watch out for Tommy and teach him the cigarette business. Jimmy the Gent was an Irish gangster, hitman, and associate of the Lucchese crime family. Burke was a well-respected associate and is most famous for masterminding the Lafonza heist in 1978, which was at the time the largest robbery in American history. An estimated $6 million in cash and $2.8 million in jewels were stolen. Investigators later determined the crime was planned and organized by Jimmy the Gent. Jimmy is the father of small-time mobster and Lafonza heist suspect Frankie Burke, Jesse James Burke, and Catherine Burke. Catherine Burke was the woman who married Bonanno crime family member Anthony Indelicato in 1992. Jimmy Conway, a character in the movie Goodfellas played by Robert De Niro, is based on Jimmy Burke. For over 2 decades, Jimmy was the wealthiest and most powerful Irish gangster in America. He is considered by the FBI to be the most powerful and most dangerous Irish gangster of all time. By 1977, he was already a multi-millionaire. His extraordinary wealth and power continued to grow to the point where he became one of the richest and most powerful gangsters in America. Even though there were a lot of Italian mobsters that were wealthier and far more powerful than Jimmy, he became the first non-Italian that earned the respect of a made man in the American mafia. The 5 families of New York respected him. They looked at Jimmy as an equal. He has also been highly respected by law enforcement for being a criminal genius and for his ingenious abilities to make enormous amounts of money in such small periods of time. He has even been incredibly respected as a legend by Italian mobsters and even by mafia bosses all over the country. He has been described by mobsters all over New York as a true gangster. As a teenager, Burke got in trouble with the law and spent a considerable time in jail. In 1949, at age 18, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison for forgery as he passed counterfeit checks for mobster Dominic Cersani. Behind bars, he mixed with a number of mafia members and other criminals of all nationalities in New York. Jimmy stood 6'5" and weighed over 270 pounds. He petrified men due to his intimidating size and fearsome reputation as a mafia enforcer. He had an evil, ice-cold stare. If there was just the littlest amount of trouble, he'd be all over you in a second. He'd grab a guy's tie and slam his face into the table before the guy knew he was in a war. He'd go to war with anybody, no matter who they were or who they were with. Jimmy Burke was
What's up,
absolutely
Stone?
fearless and wasn't scared of anybody. He could be the nicest guy in the world or your worst nightmare. It is alleged that he committed a number of murders, but no victims were ever named. Burke is rumored to have murdered and dismembered an ex-boyfriend of his bride because he was being a nuisance. Jimmy was the mentor of Thomas D. Simone, Henry Hill and Angelo Seppi, who were all young men in the 1960s and carried out jobs such as selling stolen merchandise for Burke. They eventually became part of his crew and worked out of South Ozone Park, Queens. They also set up shop in East Brooklyn. The crew helped Burke with the hijacking of delivery trucks, armed robbery, burglary, drug and weapons trafficking, cigarette smuggling, auto theft, loan sharking, protection rackets, bookmaking, the dealing and fencing of stolen property, extortion, fraud, and contract killing. According to Hill, Burke would usually give $50 to the drivers of the trucks they stole, as if he were tipping them for their inconvenience. This led to his nickname Jimmy the Gent. He owned a bar in South Queens called Robert's Lounge. It was a favorite hangout of Jimmy and his crew and other mob associates. He ran a loan shark and bookmaking operation that was based at the bar and high-stakes poker games in the basement, of which he would receive a cut of the earnings. Jimmy also owned a dress factory, also in South Ozone Park, Queens, which kept him awash in laundered money. While not a mafia member, Burke had one important mob member as a friend and associate, Captain Paul Vario. In 1960, Henry joined the Army and was stationed at Fort Bragg, near Fayetteville, North Carolina. For 3 years, he was a member of the 82nd Airborne Paratrooper Unit. However, he maintained contact with Vario and his other friends in New York throughout his enlistment. Henry continued to hustle while in the service, selling extra food, loan sharking salary advances to his fellow soldiers, and selling tax-free cigarettes. Before being discharged, he spent 2 months in a military stockade for fighting and stealing a sheriff's car for a joyride. In 1963, he returned to New York, beginning the most notorious phase of his criminal career. Henry, along with Jimmy and Tommy, plus others who were in Jimmy's crew, carried out the Air France robbery in 1967 and the huge Lufthansa heist in 1978. They also were the cause of numerous mob-related murders during that time. In 1965, Henry met his wife, Karen. The two first eloped to North Carolina, where they had a large wedding, to which most of Hill's gangster friends were invited. After the birth of their 2 children, they rented an apartment in a 2-family home in Island Park, New York in 1969. Karen was said to be very close to the mob life. When she was asked about such mobsters as Tommy DeSimone, she said that he was infamous for his violent temper. Tommy's sister was quoted as saying her brother's teenage years revolved around boxing, lifting weights, smoking cigarettes, and beating the mess out of a punching bag he kept in a spare room. He had a short fuse and an animalistic appetite. He would drink almost a gallon of whole milk a day. His only other childhood hobby was collecting different kinds of pocket knives that he kept in an old cigar box under his bed. While playing pinochle with Joseph Iannuzzi and Tommy Agro, he would throw darts at the other players when he started losing. During the 1960s, Tommy and fellow associates Henry Hill, Joey Allegro, and Stanley Diamond would go on regular hijackings. While hijacking, Tommy would always carry his gun in a brown paper bag. Walking down the street, he looked like he was bringing you a sandwich instead of a .38, Henry said. Tommy committed what is believed to have been his first murder on March 15, 1968, at the age of 18. He was walking down the street with Henry when Tommy spotted Howard Goldstein, a passing pedestrian, a random stranger unknown to either of them. Henry recalls Tommy turning to him and saying, "Hey Henry, watch this." Tommy yelled, "Hey cocksucker," pulled out a pistol, shot and killed Goldstein. In 1970, Henry Hill said they threw a welcome home party at Robert's Lounge for Billy Batts, who was a mobster with the Gambino crime family and also a longtime friend of John Gotti. Batts had just been released from prison after serving a 6-year term for drug possession. Henry states in Wise Guy that Billy saw Tommy and asked him if he still shined shoes, and Tommy took this as an insult. He also said that Billy Batts provoked Tommy because he wanted to impress some mobsters from another crime family. A couple of minutes later, when the issue died down, Tommy leaned over to Henry Hill and Jimmy Burke and said, "I'm gonna kill that man." Henry saw in Tommy's eyes that he was serious about it. A couple of weeks later, on June 11, 1970, Billy Batts went over to the suite owned by Henry in Jamaica, Queens, to go drinking with Tommy's crew, which including Henry, Tommy, and Jimmy. Later that night, Tommy took his girlfriend home, and Jimmy started making Batts feel comfortable. 20 minutes later, Tommy arrived with a .38 revolver and a plastic mattress cover. Tommy walked over to him at the corner of the bar and viciously started attacking Billy Batts. Before he was attacked, Jimmy tightened his arms around Billy and he was pistol whipped with a .38 revolver. Batts was so inebriated from heavy drinking, he failed to make any effort to defend himself. The real reason for the murder was said to be that Jimmy had taken over Billy Batts' loan sharking business while he was in prison. According to Henry, Billy Batts had been complaining to Joe Gallo about getting back this racket. Not wanting to return the business to Billy, Jimmy decided to eliminate him instead. After Batts was attacked and presumably killed, the three placed his body in the trunk of Henry's car and drove away from the bar. While they were driving, the car had a minor collision with a van on the Van Wyck Expressway in Queens. Soon after the collision, the men started hearing thudding sounds from the trunk and realized that Batts was still alive. They then stopped at Tommy's mother's house to collect a knife, some lye, and a shovel. She made them coffee, they chit-chatted, and had some breakfast, while Billy Batts was still in the trunk. Upon arriving at an isolated piece of land in Connecticut, owned by a friend of Jimmy's, the three mobsters opened the trunk of the car and finished Batts off. Once he died, the men buried him under a dog kennel. Hill said that Jimmy and Tommy didn't actually shoot him, they just stabbed him 30 or 40 times. 6 months after the murder, Jimmy found out that his friend sold the Connecticut property in order for homes to be built. Jimmy ordered Henry and Tommy to exhume his body and dispose of him elsewhere. In Wise Guy, Hill said the body was eventually put in a mechanical compactor at a New Jersey junkyard. At the time of the murder, Billy Batts was 49 years old and was a respected and feared made man in the Gambino crime family. Murdering a made man without the official consent of his family's leadership was an unforgivable offense in the Mafia Code of Omerta, especially by a rival family and a mere associate such as Tommy. DeSimone's third known murder was a young man named Spider, who was serving as a bartender at a card game, where he and Tommy had an argument when he forgot to bring Tommy his drink. This resulted in Tommy pulling out a handgun and demanding that Spider start dancing to dodge the bullets. Tommy shot him in the foot when he refused. A week later, when Spider was again serving drinks, now in a full leg cast, Tommy started to tease him about his wounded foot. Spider replied, "Why don't you go F yourself, Tommy?" After a stunned silence, a delighted and impressed Jimmy, having now developed a respect for the kid for sticking up for himself. Jimmy gave Spider some money before jokingly teasing Tommy, who hadn't said or done anything in retaliation, about going soft. Tommy, in his usual way, took the teasing seriously and lost his temper, fatally shooting Spider 3 times in the chest, angrily demanding of Jimmy if that was good enough for him. Jimmy and Henry were furious with Tommy's lack of control. Jimmy yelled, "All right, you dumb uck, since you're going to be a big FN wise guy, you dig the hole." Jimmy made Tommy bury Spider's body in the cellar by himself. Hill stated that, after he saw this, he was truly convinced that Tommy was a total psychopath. It is believed that Spider's body was subsequently moved because it was not found in the location later gave to authorities. There is also recent speculation as to whether Spider even existed, as the police never found a birth certificate, family or even friends, indicating that Hill possibly made the story up, or the most popular when talked about, that he was a worker here illegal. His fourth murder, according to Hill, occurred when Tommy and another associate named Stanley Diamond got carried away after being asked to rough up a witness to a robbery. After a truck heist, a foreman had refused to allow Jimmy to unload the cargo of a hijacked truck in his warehouse and vehemently protested because they had no union cards. Jimmy attempted to reason with the man, who stood his ground and refused to be intimidated. He later sent Tommy and Stanley Diamond to the man's house in the boondocks of New Jersey with instructions to threaten and rough up the man to ensure he would cooperate with Burke in the future. Tommy and Stanley Diamond, angry and so worked up about having to drive all the way to New Jersey, ended up beating the man to death. Tommy's fifth known murder occurred when Jimmy ordered the murder of his best friend, Dominic Remo Cersani, who became an informant. He was going to set Jimmy up in a cigarette hijack for Burke to get arrested. Jimmy got suspicious about Cersani and later found out from one of his friends in the DA's office that Cersani was talking to the NYPD and that they were going to arrest Jimmy on a truck hijacking charge. Tommy and Jimmy killed Remo that same week. The pair met him at Robert's lounge and said to him, "Let's take a ride." Tommy strangled him with piano wire. Henry Hill said the guy put up some fight. He kicked and swung like crazy before he died. Jimmy had his body buried behind Robert's lounge. Tommy also killed Gotti protege Ronald Jarrett on December 18, 1974. Tommy had dated Ronald's sister and had beaten her up, prompting Ronald to threaten to kill him. When Tommy heard about the threat, he went to the brother's apartment and knocked on the door. He opened the door and punched him in the face. DeSimone then shot him between the eyes. DeSimone would strike again by killing Parnell Edwards. Tommy was a good friend of Edwards, but was disappointed when he failed to get rid of the truck used in the LaFonza heist, where the evidence should have been destroyed. When Tommy was told by a high-ranking MAID member that he could become a made man if he carried out this hit, Tommy agreed. Once he found out where Edwards was hiding, he visited him and shot him 6 times in the chest and head with a silencer pistol. With the murders adding up, the heat on the Goodfellas started to rise. Already back in 1970, Paulie began to come under greater scrutiny from the FBI for being connected to the crew, amongst other things. Since the late 1960s, the Vario brothers had ventured into the junkyard business, most likely a front for a chop shop operation, and would use an on-site trailer as an office to discuss business legal and illegal. As a result of FBI surveillance, Vario was indicted but refused to cooperate. He was eventually found guilty of contempt and conspiracy to commit perjury and was sentenced to 3 years. Prior to his conviction, it was thought that Vario was serving as the underboss to then-boss Carmine Tremonti. Vario was shipped off to the federal prison located in Lewisburg. While in prison, he was part of the infamous Mafia Row. This was a tier of fellow mobsters, according to Hill, who lived like kings behind bars. In 1972, Jimmy Burke and Henry Hill were arrested for beating up Gasper Ciaccio in Tampa, Florida. Gasper owed a large gambling debt to their friend the union boss Casey Rosado. They were charged with extortion and convicted and sentenced to 10 years in federal prison. Jimmy was paroled after 6 years and went straight back into the life of crime, as did Hill, who got out around the same time. Henry Hill shortly began trafficking in drugs. Burke was also soon involved in this new enterprise, even though the Lucchese crime family, with whom they were associated, did not authorize any of its members to deal in drugs. This Lucchese ban was made because the prison sentences imposed on anyone convicted of drug trafficking were so lengthy that the accused would often become informants in exchange for a lighter sentence. This is exactly what Henry Hill would eventually do. It is claimed by some that he was involved in at least 20 murders during his career. Paulie knew about Hill's drug dealing in prison and warned him not to continue with this now that he was out. During the first few years of his release, Vario maintained his strong ties to the notorious Lucchese family captain and major drug trafficker Joseph D. Palmero. Because of their surveillance, the FBI believed that Paulie had financed at least one large-scale cocaine shipment with the assistance of D. Palermo. The shipment was seized in Queens following a tip to the DEA and was valued at $2 million. Vario's misfortune was soon forgotten when he approved of the Lafonza heist in 1978 and collected a great tribute payment of over $2 million. Hill nevertheless started a drug trafficking operation with Paul Mozzi, whom Hill had contacted while in prison, earning up to $4,000 per week. The potential for Henry to earn large amounts of money was too great to resist. He began wholesaling marijuana, cocaine, and heroin, and was earning an enormous amount of money. After the murders of several of his friends by Jimmy Burke, following the Lafonza heist, and the disappearance of his close friend Tommy DeSimone, who, Henry believed, had been delivered by Paulie, into the hands of the Gambino crime family for killing two MAID members without permission. Tommy's wife, Angela, reported him missing. She said she had last seen Tommy a few weeks earlier, when he borrowed $60 from her. Following the Lafonza heist, 6 people who had been involved had all been murdered on the orders of Jimmy, who wanted to avoid paying them their share of the loot. For years, the New York Police Department and the FBI believed that Tommy had either been murdered by Burke or that he was in hiding to avoid being killed. DeSimone's brother-in-law, Lucchese family member Joseph the Barber Spiani, also disappeared shortly afterward. When Hill became an FBI informant in 1980, he told authorities that Tommy had been murdered by the Gambino crime family. Despite the oft-given date of death being of January 14, 1979, the exact date of Tommy's murder is uncertain. Henry claimed that in the week after Christmas, he and Jimmy had gone down to Florida to straighten out a drug deal gone bad. Tommy had remained behind in New York because he was going to be MAID. When Jimmy called to see if the ceremony had occurred, the code phrase was to ask if Tommy had seen his godmother yet. Jimmy was told that it had been called off due to a heavy snowfall. The next day, Jimmy got a phone call and found out that Tommy had been murdered. He slammed the phone down and began crying, as depicted in the film Goodfellas. Thomas Agro claimed in 1985 that he was the driving force behind Tommy's murder. Agro also claimed to have murdered DeSimone's brother Anthony after he turned informant. He also suggested murdering the eldest and last remaining brother, Robert. According to Iannuzzi, Agro would often laughingly refer to killing the third DeSimone brother, stating that maybe it's time to go for the DeSimone trifecta. Another account, told by Henry Hill in Gangsters and Goodfellas, states that John Gotti himself was the most likely assassin. Hill would reaffirm years later that John Gotti had killed Tommy DeSimone. He also added that the death took a long time because Billy Batts had been a personal friend of John's and he wanted to assure that Tommy suffered before he died. Henry Hill and Paul Mozzi would continue to expand their operations by setting up a point-shaving scheme, which was put in place when Mozzi convinced Boston College center Rick Kuhn to participate. Kuhn encouraged teammates to join the scheme, which became a scandal. Hill also claimed to have an NBA referee who worked games at Madison Square Garden during the 70s in his pocket because of the debt the referee had incurred gambling on horse races. On April 27, 1980, Hill was arrested on a narcotics trafficking charge. He bonded out of jail and shortly afterwards was rearrested as a material witness in the Lafonza heist robbery. He became convinced that his former associates planned to have him killed. Paulie, for dealing drugs, and Jimmy, to prevent Hill from implicating him in the Lafonza robbery. This was confirmed by a surveillance tape played to Henry Hill by federal investigators, in which Jimmy tells Paulie of their need to have Hill whacked. In reference to his many victims, Hill, who claims that he has never killed anyone, stated in an interview in March 2008 that he don't give a heck what those people think. I'm doing the right thing now. On May 27, 1980, 1 month after his narcotics trafficking arrest, Hill chose to become an informant, signing with the U.S. Department of Justice Witness Protection Program to avoid possible execution by the mafia or going to prison for his crimes. His testimony led to almost 50 convictions. According to Hill, a search warrant for Robert's lounge was granted by a judge. But by the time the police arrived, Jimmy had already relocated the bodies he'd buried there, such as those of Dominic Ramos Orsani and Spider, a Robert's lounge bartender, who was shot to death by Tommy, as mentioned earlier. Partially as a result of the testimony of Henry and Werner, Jimmy Burke was taken into custody on April 1, 1980, on suspicion of a number of crimes. In 1982, he was convicted of fixing Boston College basketball games. As part of a point-shaving gambling scam in 1978, he was sentenced to 20 years. Jimmy protested that he gave the little bastard, meaning Henry Hill, some bucks to bet on games, and that's it. Authorities knew he had planned and organized a La Fonza heist. However, they did not have enough evidence to prove it in a court of law. Although Burke was suspected of committing more than 20 murders, he was only convicted of one, the murder of Richard Eaton, a hustler and confidence man. If he had disposed of Eaton the same way he disposed of most of his victims, Burke could have been a free man before he died. Instead, he beat and strangled Eaton to death, then dumped the body on the floor of an abandoned garbage lot in Brooklyn. It was winter at the time, and his frozen body wasn't discovered until days later, by children playing there. Detectives found a small address book on him, with Jimmy Burke's name in it. Burke was later charged with the murder of Eaton, based on evidence Henry Hill gave to authorities. At the trial, Hill took the stand and testified against his former friend. Hill testified Eaton had convinced Burke to invest $250,000 in a cocaine deal that promised immense profit. However, Eaton kept the money for his own use. At one point, when Henry asked Jimmy about Eaton's whereabouts, observing that he hadn't been around in a while, Jimmy replied, "Don't worry about him. I whacked the swindler out." Burke also told Hill that this would be a lesson to anyone who had not paid him his money. Based on the evidence of Burke's name, address and phone number found in Eaton's coat lining, when his body was found, along with Henry Hill's testimony, Jimmy Burke was convicted, and on February 19, 1985, he was given a life sentence. When he was leaving New York on an airplane, he looked down at JFK Airport and said to an officer, "Once upon a time, that was all mine." Burke was serving his time in Went Correctional Facility in Alden, New York. He developed lung cancer and he died from this disease on April 13, 1996, at age 64, while being treated at Roswell Park Cancer Institute in Buffalo, New York. Jimmy's sons, Frank James Burke, was found by police shot to death on May 18, 1987, at 1043 Liberty Avenue, in the Cypress Hills section of Brooklyn, at 2:30 in the morning. He was 27 years old. His other son, Jesse James Burke, is not involved in organized crime and lives a normal life. Paulie died while incarcerated on November 22, 1988, at the age of 73, while serving a 10 to 12-year sentence for convictions largely gained through the testimony of Henry Hill, who entered the Federal Witness Protection Program after testifying, but was expelled several years later for revealing his identity in preparation for his autobiography. Paul Verio's body is buried at St. John Cemetery in Queens, New York. Don't forget to like this.
Hey. Oh, what's up? Welcome back, folks. Mr. Dan Antonucci's in the house. Good to see you. Bonnie Messick, welcome from Seattle. Annie Ruler, good to see you as well. Thank you all for jumping in here with us, joining us. So, let's see here, folks. Let me give you some more stuff here. So, as you see, it kind of went right in line with that movie. From what I understand, there was interviews done that they had talked to Henry Hill personally and a few other people that were, involved in some of these things. And the story follows the movie pretty closely. There were some pieces of it that were not really 100% true to the movie. You know what I mean? Or to the real life. I'm sorry, but it still was pretty close, folks. Pretty close. So we're gonna look at this this piece of this goes right along with it, guys. It's quite interesting as well.
1995, the movie Casino depicted a fictional tale of the Chicago mob's role in Las Vegas during the 1970s, starring Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci.
These guys, they're talking about the movie Casino right now, but it goes along with some. These guys were involved in the same group, families, I guess you could say, that were involved with the Goodfellas scenario. So I'm just giving you a little other piece of some stuff.
And Sharon Stone. The film includes a frightening scene of two characters based on Chicago mobsters Anthony and Michael Spilatro, who were found buried in an Indiana cornfield. Buried in a way that they would never be found. But they were. So what happened?
Setting you up. No comment. Perhaps that is a more appropriate question for Tony Spilatro this afternoon than it was 3 years ago. Then, the reputed manager of the mob's Las Vegas business had bonded out of Cook County Jail on a murder charge. Now, Spilatro and his brother Michael may be murder victims themselves, although they are officially listed as missing persons. 48-year-old Tony and 41-year-old Michael were last seen Saturday here at Michael's home in West Suburban Oak Park.
Last time they were seen, according to Ann, which is Michael's wife, was that they were seen about 2 p.m. on Saturday when they left the residence, 1102 South Maple. She has not seen or heard from them since.
Where were they going?
She did not indicate where they were going. Didn't know that they'd be out and they'd be back later.
They never returned, but the car they left in was found last night.
So is it just me, or does that guy's voice irritate the shit out of you guys? Because it really does sound like he's trying really hard to talk like this, and it drives me nuts. Just saying. So is it me, or does that guy's voice drive you guys nuts? I'm just asking.
Night in the parking lot of this Schiller Park motel. A passing policeman noticed the 1986 Lincoln Mark 7, which had also been listed as missing. The FBI found no clues in the car, only a single golf club in the trunk, a driver, a couple of jackets in the back seat, a garage door opener, and a nickel on the front console. We found a cassette still in the dashboard tape player, the pre-recorded tape called James Bond 007, 13 originals. Bloodstains, weapons, anything unusual?
Nothing unusual that we can determine at this time.
What does that say to you? I mean, these people have just vanished?
Because this time they're still missing. We don't know what happened to them. The car was...
All right, guys. I think we're all going to get together since we're all in here, okay? And I think we're all going to go together, and we're going to go look for this guy's chin because it's not there. It's really not there. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Gina. They did that a lot. Same happened with mine because that's where my family is from, is Sicily. They do that a lot. So, yeah, we're going to go looking for this guy's chin.
Parked out there. They could have certainly parked it. Somebody else could have certainly parked it. We have no knowledge of who parked the car there.
Tony Spilatro's wife, Nancy, seemed very surprised that the car was found in this lot just 5 minutes from O'Hare Airport. I spoke with Nancy Spilatro by phone at the family's home in Las Vegas. She would not say why she was concerned about the car's proximity to O'Hare, but the airport has traditionally been a favorite dumping spot for murdered mobsters. The airport might also be an easy place by which Spilatro would leave the country. But Nancy Spilatro told me she has not heard from her husband. She has no idea where he is. She has no idea what happened to him.
I just find it most unlikely. Most unlikely. I prefer to think that they're out on frolic and that they'll come walking home tonight, perhaps a little inebriated, and they'll have half the family angry at them. That is, their family angry at them. And they'll probably be facing divorce proceedings by tomorrow. That's what I prefer to think.
Tony Spilatro, once considered an heir to the crime syndicate throne in Chicago, has as of late been a liability, according to mafia observers. He is to be retried in Las Vegas beginning Monday for allegedly masterminding a burglary ring called the Hole in the Wall Gang. He is still under federal indictment for his alleged role in outfit-operated casino skimming in Las Vegas. His brother, who manages this West Side restaurant and is a part-time actor, was charged in the Vegas burglary ring, but the case was dropped. He is currently under indictment on federal extortion charges, all of which leads Oak Park investigators to speculate that the Spalatros are being kept quiet by the mob's method of choice: murder.
Possibility does exist, naturally. Naturally, considering the background of both individuals.
I want to know where his chin is. I really do. Excuse me. All right, now let's talk about Henry Hill, folks. I hope to God Chin is not in this too. Yeah, it's been sleeping with the fishes, Jennifer. Like, I've never seen anything built. Like, I'll go buy him a damn chin. It's ridiculous. Yes, I do, Miss Gina. 100%.
At the age of 12, my ambition was to be a gangster. To me, being a wise guy was better than being president of the United States. To be a wise guy was to own the world.
This is Henry Hill. Henry spent half his life running with one of the most violent mafia gangs in America, having to do whatever was asked of him to survive. His life in the mob was made infamous by Martin Scorsese's gangster classic, Goodfellas.
Based on Henry Hill's accounts, in the film, Henry paints a broader picture of Paul Vario, a capo in the Lucchese crime family, as well as significant characters working under Vario, himself included. The Lucchese crime family was one of New York mafia.
Thank you, Kimberly. Actually, this was just a rehash. I mean, I've showed you guys everything there is to see about it, about that story itself. So, that was just an extra piece I had just in case we had some issues per se. I hope you guys enjoyed that for sure. Now, what do we want to do next? You guys want another story behind a movie, or do you want to go with a facility, another facility? And thank you, Kimberly. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, I should say. Let me see and hear what you guys have to say about it. So you want to go with do you want to go with a facility? Do you want to go, because I've been thinking about pulling up, I had another idea too. There was a movie that I was a big fan of. I'm still a big fan of, and it's about the mob in the 40s and the 50s, the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Actually, the Untouchables, Al Capone, Lucky Luciano, stuff like that. Are you guys interested in knowing stories behind that stuff? because I was going to kind of kick that off too a little bit and start looking into some of that stuff, guys. If you're interested now, if you're not, I'm not going to go into that right away. If not, we can check into some facilities, things like that. It's up to you guys completely. I want you guys to be pleased with the selections, of course, and it's up, like I said. Interested in anything you put out? Well, thank you, Kimberly. And April says yes, please. Same here. Whatever the majority is, I'm good. Okay. We live in a big interest. Facilities are my favorite, but it's all good either way. CL likes the facilities. I got you. Okay. Let me think here. I have the I had, hold on, let me get into my notes. All right, let's check this out. Don't be saying that too loud there, Bonnie. That doesn't come off easy. I know what you mean, honey. I'm just saying. All right, here we go. Vote, 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 guys. Give me your votes. Please give me your votes. Weston State Lunatic Asylum. And that is the same place. And when we covered the Moundsville Reformatory, that's the same place that they would send people that were criminally insane. Interesting story behind that place. Seriously, it is. I have a lot of knowledge about these places, guys, and very interesting. Again, guys, just so you guys, I know you guys know already, the channel is 100% crowdfunded. Anybody that can donate to support the channel to keep the bills paid, to keep me coming out to you guys via Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App, it is so very much appreciated. It keeps me coming to you guys every single day and keeps everything up and running. So I am super appreciative for anybody that has donated, anybody that will donate. Thank you so very much for that, folks. Oh, yeah, Caroline, I know what you're talking about. Thank you, Pink. I appreciate that. Thank you, Bonnie. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. Bedlam. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir, Eddie. You ain't lying. Yeah, we can actually cover that one not too far out, too. Thank you, Heather. No, it's all right, Mikey. It's all good, bro. As long as you guys enjoy what I pick, that's all I'm worried about, truthfully, folks. That's all I'm worried about. Oh, well, thank you very much, Miss Jennifer. I appreciate that. Very, very much. Do your thing, Miss Heather. My race. There you go. Hey, Shandy girl. Good to see you. Again, thank you, Jennifer, so very much. Appreciate you. Thank you, April. I appreciate that as well. No, the PayPal is just for like donations towards the channel, Aunt Clara. The membership, I'm trying to explain it. You just would purchase the membership for like $2.99 via. I think you might be able to do it through PayPal. Actually, maybe. That's in West Virginia, Jennifer. It's very interesting, the story behind that place. It really is. I'll give you guys a little. Well, it looks like everybody's voting on that anyway. So I'll give you guys a little trailer on it if you guys want to check it out beforehand. What's going on? Oh my God, Shandy, I'm sorry to hear that, my dear. I hope you're doing okay. Good Lord. Well, know that you're in our thoughts and prayers. I promise you, always. Good Lord. I'm so sorry to hear that. 88 to 11%. So we'll just go with that. Oh, Shandy, I'm so sorry. So sorry to hear that.
I'm Katrina. And I'm Jack. And
All right, this is just going to be a quick look at this place, guys. I don't want to ruin it, but I'm just going to give you an idea as to what we're looking at here real fast.
6 acres with 13 buildings. So it's just ticking all the boxes right there. Yeah, there's like no way it wouldn't be haunted. Yeah, pretty much. They didn't do themselves any favors. Totally asking for it. Rebecca is the owner of Trans-Allegheny, and she's owned it for over a decade, and she's really the one who saved it from being torn down. The most disturbing thing about this facility is that thousands upon thousands of lobotomies occurred there. And it was also the kind of facility where you could drop a family member off there if you were just tired of them and you were like, oh yeah, they're crazy. You know, there's a theory in kind of paranormal investigating called the stone tape theory. And that is certain buildings made of specific materials will hold on to the energy of that place, just as a tape recorder will hold on to the sound. So
all right, and like I said, just a little peek. It does have a basis of being haunted for sure, as most of these places do. But there's a lot of stuff behind it. So we're going to check it out. That is what we're looking at. Okay. Trans-Allegheny is awesome. It's called, the name of it was Weston. It's from Weston, West Virginia. So. Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Miss Heather. For those of you interested, we do have our social media accounts that are linked to the channel, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, guys. If you're interested in checking them out, please do and become part of them. They're pretty cool. Miss Heather handles the Instagram account. Miss Brandy handles the TikTok account, and lately I've been handling the Facebook account as much as I can. I'm trying to change that up though, but they do really good jobs with that stuff. So check them out, guys. It's really, really good stuff over there. So your homework, should you choose to accept it, is there's actually a series out about the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum right now. It's really interesting to look at if you'd like to. If not, don't worry about it. I will tell you the whole story. I have no problem with that, folks. and it's really cool. Again, Shandy girl, I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. I hope you're healing well, and you are in my thoughts and prayers, my dear. Absolutely. Again, I hope you all had an amazing night, an amazing day, and I hope you're going to have an even better sleep tonight, and I will see you tomorrow. It is, what's up, Mikey? What's the matter? Just remember, guys, I will be here live tomorrow between noon, 12:30. We are covering the Nicola Bully case, just doing a refresher on it, guys, revisiting it, seeing what's new, and enlightening some of you guys that aren't familiar with it between 12 and 12:30 tomorrow. So be there or be square. What's up, Mikey? Again, if anybody needs to contact me, there, no problems, Eddie. Yeah, it is Thursday night, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum or Weston State Hospital. That is what it is. Tomorrow, noon, 12:30, same stuff. I will be doing Nicola Bully's case. We're revisiting that. I would love to have you all there for that, and then some, as we look into it and see what else we can come up with. It's been sitting there idle for quite a while. Nothing. I don't like the way that they're trying to end it, and I'm just not going to put up with it. So. Oh, thank you, Miss Aunt Claire. I appreciate that so very much. I don't know if you needed the link for that. It's right up here. Hold on a minute. I'll put that back up for you if that's what you're wanting to do. And it is appreciated because it does help the channel to stay running. That's a fact. That's how we do this. There's a link for PayPal if you're interested in that, Aunt Clara. Or one of you guys want to put the link to the PayPal in there separately by itself so she doesn't have to look through all of that. It's kind of confusing at times. You can do that as well. Thank you, Heather. Have a great night, B. Hope to see you soon. Hopefully tomorrow. Eddie, as always a pleasure, my friend. Love you guys to death. I hope you guys have a great night. And I cannot thank you, CL. I appreciate that. I cannot wait to see you guys again tomorrow for this one. Sounds great, Carolyn. I bet you do. But yeah, we will definitely be doing that. There we go. Thank you, Heather, so very much. You are awesome. And there is that link. It's up on the screen, Aunt Clara, if you need it. Thank you again. I appreciate you so very much. Excuse me. Also, what was I? Oh, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Like I said, guys, tomorrow between 12 and 12:30, I will be back covering Nicola Bully, which needs done. So I hope to see you all there for that. I hope you guys have an amazing night. I love you guys 1,000%. And I hope you have an amazing night. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody. Oh, yeah. I didn't even see that. I'm sorry. By the way, have a great night, Gabe. Thanks for watching, buddy. Hope to see you again soon.